Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Second Algorand Assembly of 2023. My name is Summer. I am the head of Community APAC at the Algorand Foundation, and I will be your host today. Joining me here as co-host is my dear colleague Myro, who is the community lead for Brazil. Myro, do you want to say a quick hello?
Hey guys, it's really nice to be here again. We're very happy that you're joining, and let's have some fun.
Thank you. I can see that there are already over like 700 attendees online now. Please feel free to use the chat box on the right side of the screen and let us know where you are. So I can see Algo fam from different regions. Hey, from Ireland. Wow, that's good to see. Love the enthusiasm from our community and thank you for all being here. The goal of the Community Assembly Call is to share with you the most recent community and ecosystem updates of algorithm every other month. AJ, can you mute yourself for now? Thank you very much. And so this call is held every other month with rotating time zones and featured topics. So all assembly calls will be recorded and every registrant will receive a link to recording after the call. So no worries if time zone doesn't work for you. Cool, let's have a quick look at today's agenda, shall we? Next slide, please. Today we will be sharing the following topics. First, starting with an update on the Myalgo wallet instance, and there will be exciting news for the Algo Kit launch, followed by the governance update. Then our community team will introduce the long-awaited community newsletter, as well as give you a heads up on upcoming Q2 events globally. We would like to highlight an ecosystem project at the end, and also put a spotlight on our newly onboarded community champions for this year. During the session, please feel free to submit your questions in the chat box. If time permits, we'll address some of the most commonly asked questions in the end. Cool. Before we start, I'd like to introduce our guest speakers here, who will be bringing you the exciting updates of the above topics. So let's welcome John Woods, Algorand Foundation CTO. Yay.
Hey guys.
Adriana Vladi, Governance Program Manager. And Michele Ciccani, Head of Market Analytics and Research. And Jack O'Connor, our Head of Community EMEA. And you've already known me and Myro, so without further ado, let's kick off this assembly. John, over to you.
Hey folks, great to be here, and thank you for the introduction. So wanted to touch base with folks and do an update on Myalgo. I had said during this event that had happened, unfortunately, when people were attacked and their money was stolen, that I would do a deep dive where I do a live stream and explain exactly how things went down. And so I still intend to do that. The investigation has progressed really well, and so we understand a lot more now than we did when the event took place. Today, I wanted to touch into some of the technical details, but ultimately, I'll do a deeper dive as soon as the investigation properly concludes. Okay, so if we can go to the next slide, please. Lovely. So let me just jump into the technical explainer. I mentioned on a video recently that there are a number of different ways that you can have an Algorand wallet. And I talked about local wallets, cold storage, ledger, phone-based wallets, and web wallets. Well, when you interact with a web wallet, as I stated on that video, what happens is you have to either give the website your private key in the form of your mnemonic seed, the English words, the 24 words that you write down, or if you've already done that, your web browser in its cache, along with the rest of the cache websites that you visit, will have an encrypted copy of the key. And so you just need to enter your password to decrypt the local key, and it's loaded into the web browser. And I think folks can probably see the problem with this. It's not as secure as using things like Ledger or a phone, because ultimately your web browser, which is openly talking to the rest of the internet and the rest of the world, is carrying a copy of your private key. So this is known, and it's, I guess, a less secure and riskier way to interact with your wallet, but of course it's convenient, which is why people use it. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how the person who attacked people managed to steal their funds. What happened was, when a person was visiting Myalgo, they were receiving the regular and normal Myalgo website. It turns out that most times when you're on the internet, you visit a website, and of course, that website is served to you by a computer or a web server somewhere on the internet. For large websites like Netflix, Spotify, and in this case, Myalgo, they tend to be served by what's called a CDN, or a content distribution network. And this is a third party that has very high bandwidth and can serve websites to millions of users at the same time. This is normal, of course. The way that the website like Netflix or Myalgo will give the CDN a copy of their website to serve to users is by using a thing called an API key. So Myalgo had an account with the CDN, and they used their API key to upload a copy of Myalgo. So far, so good. So folks visited the Myalgo website, and it was served properly by the CDN. And this is where the attack took place. A bad actor used that same API key that Myalgo used to upload their upload their website to the CDN, to inject a malicious piece of JavaScript code. And so when folks were using the Myalgo website regularly, the malicious JavaScript would be served by the CDN just after the regular website was served. So folks thought they were using the normal website, but they were using the normal website with a little bit of extra code added. You might think, well, why didn't the CDN know this? But of course, it's not the CDN's fault. The CDN are there to serve out whatever they're told to serve out. So they don't and can't be expected to inspect the correctness of the code that's given to them. Right. So what was inside this malicious JavaScript that was the extra piece of code that was given to the user when they were on the Myalgo website? Well, at runtime, so when the user was interacting with their wallet on Myalgo, this extra piece of JavaScript code would swap out the logic that usually signed transactions normally and did the normal things legitimately for a piece of logic that stole the private key or the password for the encrypted local storage of the key and sent it using an encrypted connection to a server or another computer on the internet that was controlled by the attacker. So, as you can see in summary, what happened here was people were using the Myalgo website. It was served to them as normal, but it was served with a poison pill of malicious JavaScript that swapped out good code for bad at the time they were using it, and stole their private key and sent it to an attacker's website. An attacker's server. And so the attacker was running this attack for about a month or so, and harvesting many, many user details, the seeds, the passwords. And then the attacker sat on those for some time. And then when they felt like they were locked out or they weren't able to get any further, they, of course, drained the accounts. So that's a technical explainer about what happened in terms of the Myalgo exploit. I will be doing another video where I do a deeper dive on this. Maybe we can look at the source code together and I'll explain it further. So I hope that makes sense. It's obviously very unfortunate. In terms of Myalgo, what's next? Well, Myalgo, what's ironic really about this whole thing is that it wasn't a bug in the Myalgo code. It wasn't a problem with how Myalgo generated the private key. It wasn't really a problem in terms of the Myalgo engineering. The actual problem here was the operational security of the API key that they interacted with their CDN with. So whether or not Myalgo continues, I guess, is up to them, and whether or not the community will have their faith restored in that product or service. Finally, over the next kind of coming week or so, I'm going to do another dive on wallet security and try to explain exactly how people should handle their private keys. I've already done one of these live streams on Twitter, but I think next time I'll do one on YouTube, so it's more available to folks who aren't using Twitter. Okay, so next slide, if we can go on to the next thing I'd like to talk about. Thank you. So today, March 29th, 2023, is a very big day for us at the Algorand Foundation and within the Algorand ecosystem. When I came to Algorand from Cardano, folks will be aware that one of the things I wanted to focus on the most was the user experience, particularly the user experience for end users and for developers. Algorand has objectively got fantastic technology. The engineering is first class. The applied cryptography and distributed systems engineering is really, truly spectacular. But that stuff is only half of the story. The other half is how easy it is to use, how easy it is to develop for. Of course, things like the iPhone wouldn't be as popular as they are if it was really hard to build iPhone apps. And folks wouldn't have as many of these devices out there. They wouldn't be as ubiquitous if it wasn't easy and fun to use. Algo Kit is about making it easy for developers to build on Algorand so that we end up with an app store on Algorand that rivals things like the iPhone. If we can pop to the next slide. Today, we're launching the public release of Algo Kit. And I'm going to walk you through some of the features. So this is the first big push from the foundation. It's the first big time we've engineered something significantly that's going to change how people interact with Algorand. On top of that, this is only the beginning. Algo Kit 1.0 releases today, but we're not stopping there. We're working for the rest of this year, and by Q4 this year, we intend to drop Algo Kit V2, which is going to be mind-blowing. But let's focus on V1 because that's what we've worked up to date. So Jess and the team at the foundation who handle marketing are working alongside the rest of the technology division in order to bring awareness to what we've done and what we've achieved here. Algo Kit is going to bring Algorand development near parity with things like Ethereum. We're going to have an intuitive command line interface that allows you to build, test, deploy, and set up your environment. You can install Algo Kit with a single command. It also provides unit testing frameworks so that you can test your code in a way that ensures that it's as correct as possible before it hits mainnet. We have safe templates to allow people to have starting points for folks who've never written a line of code before. And indeed, we have VS Code integration and contract level abstraction so that you can focus on the business logic of your application and not on the boilerplate. Finally, Algo Kit is language agnostic. And what that means is that it's an entire framework for building applications, but it doesn't force you to use a particular language. Right now, we're using Python in our first release, but towards the end of this year, when we drop Algo Kit version 2, we're hoping to drop with it a very commonly known language that's going to make Algo Kit and Algorand development accessible to millions of people worldwide. I really think that this is a pivotal point in Algorand's journey, and so I'm really excited and happy to be here for the launch. So thanks a lot. That's the updates on the happy bit of Algo Kit and the sad bit of Myalgo. So looking forward to 2023. Thanks, Summer.
Thank you, John. Awesome. Appreciate the detailed updates and thanks for taking the time to join us. We are so excited about Algo Kit launch. Look forward to it. It's worth mentioning that there will be a Twitter space later today with John, so you can find a detailed message on the Algorand Foundation Twitter. So take time to join and you can ask John any questions there. Cool. Let's move to the next part, governance update. I'll just pass the mic to Michele and Adriana. Over to you.
Thank you, Summer. Next slide, please. Hello. So let's start with, let's say, the birth and the historical evolution of the governance in order to understand better the present and the future direction in the governance framework. So let me say it all started as usual in Algorand. That is with a great idea from Silvio Micali, which is the following. Essentially, with the pure proof of stake, the community is at the center of the consensus mechanism. That is the choice of the next block. With the new governance, the community is also at the center of all the strategic decisions for the ecosystem. That are, let's say, different from the consensus process. And to this end, Silvio devised, let's say, this kind of figure, that is the governor, which is essentially, we can see as a citizen of the Algorand ecosystem, and therefore as a citizen has both duties and rights. The governor is essentially an algo holder, who must shows, let's say, skin in the game. That is willingness to accept the consequences of his vote during the so-called governance period. And since it must vote in every session, it gets compensated with governance rewards. So next slide, please. With this, let's say, the first iteration of the governance framework, we would call governance 1.0, we started from 1.7 billion of total governance algo commitment, and we reached finally a 3.8 billion, which represents more than half the circulating supply, which is a great success in the adoption and the decentralization of the voting phase. Further, we talked with our community in different channels, and we realized that we had to, to devise, more active ways to demonstrate skin in the game. That is, allow governors to be active and to participate in governance with different ways of committing. And so we allowed DeFi users to be governors by, for example, committing the LP tokens or directly participating into governance through different forms of liquid governance available in different DeFi protocols. So again, we improved the decentralization of the governance in the voting phase. A further step in decentralization, but let me say in another direction. If with the previous stages we increased the adoption in the voting part, with the definition and the ongoing work of the governance advisory committee, we improved the adoption in the previous phase, that is the proposal. This governance advisory committee, which is composed by different members, which represents different parts of the Algorand ecosystem, they have an active role in the proposal of new measure to put on vote in the next governance phases. So I let the microphone to Adri to explain the present and the future direction. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Michele. Hi, everybody. Just before I started on this big thing that's coming up next, I wanted to say on the governance advisory committee, the measure that we approved that you governors approved in this governance period 6 regards to the targeted DeFi rewards is a measure that was proposed by one of the members of the governance advisory committee, Riley Reda from GOD. And the idea behind this committee is that it having members from all parts of the ecosystem, being investors, DeFi participants, community members that are on Twitter, talking about things that are important to us all day long. So the idea is that you will reach out to the committee member that represents you and discuss proposals and ideas that you have so they can bring those ideas into the conversation with us. And that way, we'll start bringing your voices into the measures that we proposed whilst we implement the next step in governance. Hello, XGovs. This slide is blank. I don't know why. Myra, maybe you have to click again. Here we go. Thank you. So the XGov program is something that's based on another great idea by Silvio Micali, where he proposed that we should start thinking about creating an expert layer of governors who deeply understand our ecosystem, who have the knowledge, the expertise to make decisions about funding and, how we should be conducting business in 10 years. And we're going to start that program by having XGovs making decisions about funding grants. So from governance period 7, starting next Saturday, we will be allowing governors who want to become XGovs to opt in into the XGov system. This new layer of governance was designed in collaboration with the community through the ARC process. And we have 2 ARCs in that, ARC 33 and 34. Stefan Barroso, our ARC manager, did an amazing job, meeting with the community on a weekly basis, hosting forums on Twitter with me and on Discord by himself, just to, gather everyone's input on how the first iteration of this program should look like. And it's important to emphasize that this is really the first iteration. We're going to build this thing together as we we're on a speeding train, and we are building the train as we go along. So this program does not offer extra rewards, and to become an XGov, a governor will opt in when they sign up for governance. They must perform their normal governance duties for the whole period 7. And then at the start of period 8, they will receive their rewards, but instead of the rewards going into their wallet, it will go to the XGov Epoch 1 pool, and then the rewards will stay there for 12 months. The XGov will receive voting power, and they will perform their voting duties, and we'll see how this whole process will work, and we will improve and iterate as needed. Next slide, please. Mayura, thank you. Okay, so Q2, starting on Saturday at GP7 sign up, which will be open for 3 weeks instead of 2 to allow everyone time to consider whether they want to participate as an XGov or not. You will be able to opt in, and XGov Epoch will start at the start of Q3. But also in Q2, we're going to open the grants proposal. So part of the XGov program is community is allowed, is encouraged to submit proposals for grants. We're going to run these proposals at this stage via a specific repo on GitHub. I'm working on a how-to guide for those of you who are not developers but will want to submit proposals. And during Q2, once these proposals start to come in, the governors who have opt-in to become XGovs in Q3, they will be able to start accessing these proposals, submitting questions to the projects and trying to understand a little bit more. So as soon as Q3 starts and the voting power is distributed, we can open the first voting session for XGov. And obviously from then onwards, it's a continuous process. We will continue to review general governance. We will continue to review the XGov program and hopefully implement, a system of decision-making that benefits us all. So this is the update for governance. Let's do this XGov from now on. And I'm really, really excited to be part of this with you all and be an XGov. Let's do this.
Thank you, John and Kali. I mean, I cannot wait to be an XGov myself. I know we share the same excitement for the community, so look forward to it. Thank you. So moving to the community part, in order to optimize the community channel, we have done a series of exercise and proposed several initiatives. So next, we'd like to introduce you one of the exciting updates for the global community. Myra, you're up.
Hey guys, okay, my camera is on. So nice to be here again. Nice to meet you all again. Hello directly from Brazil. We just started recently. If you guys have signed up for our newsletter, you probably received it last week. So now we have the Algo fam. As you already well know, we have the Algo Insider, that it's our newsletter that we have for everyone in the ecosystem overall. So everyone that signed up for our newsletter receives the Algo Insider, where we share basically ecosystem information, a lot of updates inside from Algorand. So this is why it's called Algo Insider. And now we just launched the Algo Fam, that it's the community newsletter. So if you're here, you're probably very interested in the community itself. You are part of our community. You are very engaged. So you are the person to be receiving this newsletter and be working together with us. So the idea of the Algo Fam, it's about bonding with the community, sharing insights, accomplishments that we are proud of or that you guys are proud of. We want to bring updates that could enhance our relationship and we can have this exchange of information, and that is very rich for us. And I believe that it's also rich for you guys as well. So the idea is that it is made by the community and for the community. So this is why from now on, we already this first edition, and we will also have in the next editions always the Algo member of the month. We will always have the champion member of the month, as we had in the previous edition. So it's really interesting to have you guys participating and sharing what you guys want to know and what you want to be what you want to see featuring in our newsletter. We also have a part for the founders and the ecosystem partners that if they want to promote or present projects, be considered to speaking opportunities, you have an opportunity to let us know on that section. So basically what you'll find is what's new in the community, what we are sharing in our community groups throughout the different regions. We will have regional updates, ecosystem updates, the upcoming events and events that we worked on, and also a dedicated part on the NFTs and artists and creators. So basically, this is what we will be having in the Algo Fam. If you haven't signed up yet, it's really simple. Just go in our website, algorand.foundation, and scroll it to the bottom, and you see join our community, sign up for the newsletter. So you just fulfill your details, and you'll be part, and you'll be receiving the Algo Fam. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Myra. Do remember to sign up for the newsletter, and you won't be missing anything from us. So, well, like we have exciting community events coming up, and I mean, for the past 3 months, we already held hundreds of events and campaigns global-wide. How many have you guys been participating in? If you haven't been to any of the Algorand events, no worries. We will be sharing here some highlights of our Q2 events, and please make sure you are joining. And please note that what list here are just the a tip of the iceberg, and there will be more. Moving to the next slide, please. Since I'm speaking, how about we just start with the APAC region first? So I'd like to highlight the events first from Korea. On April 1st, we will have our first ever Algorand Builder Korea meetup, which is led by our local community champions and our DevRel lead, Chris Kim. He will also be speaking there. So if you are in Seoul, please do drop by. And in mid-April, on April 19th, our Algo Hub partner, Sienna, she will be leading meetup in Melbourne, and it is topic with blockchain versus AI. Sounds interesting, right? If you are in Melbourne, do drop by. And for April and May, we will have online workshops dedicated to developers. So one is the Algorand Japan Academy, and we will have a series online, curriculum dedicated to the local developers in Japanese. And also we will have another localized dev workshop in Vietnam, led by our local community champion. So do sign up, and if you're interested in developing in Algorand, this can be a good start point for you. So in early June, exciting news, we'll be holding a meetup with Efficient Racing alongside their race. So we will be holding the event in Jakarta, and we are expecting over 200 participants in that event. And I mean, good news is that if you participate in this event, you might get a ticket. So do join. And one last highlight I'd like to share is the Australian Blockchain Week. So Algorand will be the sponsor of the Australian Blockchain Week, and we will actually featuring as the after party sponsor at the last day in Melbourne. So, and we will be joining several panels in the conference. So if you want to meet the team, please join us there. Okay, that's for the APAC event highlights. And for the rest of part of the world, I think I will just pass to my colleague, Jack. Over to you.
Thank you, Summer. Good afternoon, Algo fam. Good to see you here. I hope you're all doing real well. So to kick off for EMEA, events in Q2, to start, all of our community champions across the region will be hosting online meetups for their regional communities. So if you don't know who your regional community champion is, don't worry, we'll be introducing them at the end of this call. But for those of you who are on the call, the champions on the call, maybe share your Telegram groups in the chat so that people can join them. These regional events are going to be a nice opportunity for you to share ideas about how we can better engage your regional communities and also to bring certain projects to light. So we want a two-way conversation with our community for sure. In April, we will be at the Dubai FinTech Summit. Stacey is actually going to speak at this, and we're going to have some senior members of our team in town. And our community manager for the Middle East, Rayan, has been working on some really nice strategic partners in the region. So we're going to take this as a nice opportunity to bring that together. So anyone from our Dubai community, please make sure to reach out and join us for that. Later in May, our community champion, Natalie, in Germany, is going to be hosting a NFT meetup for Berlin, for NFT Week Berlin. We're going to bring together some of the founders that are based in Germany from our NFT community and get them to showcase some of their works, and we'll have a bit of fun with those guys. Later that month, we're going to host an event here in Barcelona for NFT Barcelona. This one's not going to be just NFT based. It's going to be for our kind of broader Spanish community. Tomas is our new Spanish champion. He's going to help us with this. And we also actually have a bunch of founders from the ecosystem based here in Barcelona. So it's going to be a nice opportunity to get those guys together. And at the end of May, it's no surprise that we've obviously got John Woods, we've got Deirdre, we've got David, and we've got Joanna. A lot of the Algorand Foundation team, myself included, are Irish. And so we will do something around Blockchain Ireland Week. Sarah Jane, our community champion, will host a small side event adjacent to the main conference, and we'll be floating around there for sure. And lastly, for EMEA, we as members of the Crypto Valley Association will be attending their Crypto Valley conference in Switzerland. And naturally, as one of their members, will be well integrated into that event. So any of the Swiss community online, make sure to reach out and connect with us in and around that. Mayra, next slide, please. So I'm going to speak as well to the Americas event because Autumn can't be here on this call. Currently, as we speak, Mayra is in Rio for ETH Rio. So if you're in that neck of the woods, please make sure to reach out to her and connect. As we come into April, we're going to be hosting an NFT mixer for Miami NFT Week. Also, we're going to be doing meetups in Buenos Aires and Guadalajara. So Camilo is the guy to reach out for those two events. Then into April, we're super excited about a really big activation at NFT NYC. We've got some really nice stuff in store, some NFT exhibitions, some really nice music stuff happening. So if you are NYC based, please make sure to get along to that. Later in the month, we've got the Mega Ace Hackathon. This is across aspects of South America, but also is linked to our ACE program in Nairobi as well. This is a really, really nice piece of work that Doro and the ACE team have put a lot of work into. So particularly if you're a developer, please check that one out. And then, of course, Consensus. Last year, we went really big at Consensus. We got a lot of the US and global family together. So please do join us for that. As that plan unfolds, you can follow more on our socials. We'll be sharing it all there. And actually, I'm going to share the events page on our website in the chat after this bit. And then finally in May, we have got a meetup in Bogota. Then that again will be Camilo who's running that one. I've just seen some questions about the Nigerian community. Yes, we're going to be doing some stuff in Nigeria over the coming months. Stay tuned. I know we've been slow here, but I promise it's going to happen real quick. So guys, that's everything from me. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Jack. Cannot wait to be a part of all events, and I will be at some of the Asia APAC events myself, so I'm excited to meet the community there. Okay, moving to the next part, ecosystem highlights. Considering like this call is for APAC regions, so I like to leverage this chance to highlight like one project from the APAC Accelerator program. Moving to the next slide, please. This will be an exciting, project for the global community. I mean, like POAP is a long-awaited tool for our community, especially considering like we have so many events across the world every day. And this Algo POAP project is one of the 7 chosen like projects for APAC Accelerator Program, and it is in its early stage, but we already like tested out in several our meetups, and this will be the first time like we test it for the big global event. And every listeners here and every registrant, you will be able to like receive a link to claim the first ever official POAP issued by this platform. And actually after this call, as you receive the recording of this call, you'll also be receiving a link, and like a magic link, which you can automatically claim the NFT. And how does it look like? It's just like on the right side of the screen, you can see how it looks like. And actually this POAP gives you the access to a free NFT, which is created by Algo Kit, which most of you might be familiar with, our king of designer. It's a very beautiful POAP. And if you move to the next slide, you can check it out now. So as long as like you become our the platform's user and claim the POAP with the link we send after the call, then you will be receiving this POAP as well. Pretty excited, huh? Okay, so I mean, if there's any questions regarding the POAP, you'll be receiving like an email address of the Algo POAP team, which you can reach out anytime and help them to improve their project for the bigger events. Thank you very much. Okay, as you know that, moving to the next slide, please. As you know, we announced the community campaign in early March, and you might be wondering, how are they doing? Well, why don't we just let themselves to tell you? Myra, can you just play the video?
Hello everyone, my name is Gemma. I'm from Spain and based in Miami, where I'm the community
Is the video
champion
on?
for Algorand. I joined Algorand because
everyone?
it's the best protocol out there that respects the planet. It has an amazing team behind that's passionate and super prepared, and the community of Algorand is human and growing and very engaging. I plan to help people understand about Algorand, its protocol and its projects, grow community, and explore the intersection between Web3 and art.
Hello Algorand community, my name is Michael Zacco, and as your New York City community champion, I plan to help organize and attend Web3 events where I'll be onboarding new users to Algorand and educating the public on its top-tier blockchain technology. I want to quickly share 3 things about Algorand that I'm beyond excited for. 1, I'm looking forward to meeting more of you as I travel across the country and globe attending Algorand events. 2, the wave of new developers that will be advancing our ecosystem thanks to Algo Kit and the works of John Allen Woods. And 3, I'm excited to make a best friend out of my 3 mostly friends.
Hey everyone, this is Ayureza, and I'm the new community champion for the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm also a climate tech founder, building solutions to help individuals and businesses to reduce and mitigate their emissions. Been building on Algorand for a very long time and super excited about the chain. For the Algorand community, we're planning some awesome events coming up, so stay tuned. And if you have any questions about Algorand, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.
Hi AlgoFam, soy Maximiliano Ríos, el nuevo Community Champion de Buenos Aires, Argentina. Un apasionado de la tecnología y el emprendedorismo. Y me motiva muchísimo lograr que Algorand transforme la vida de muchas personas y se convierta en un referente en el mundo cripto argentino.
Hola a todos, yo soy el Community Champion de Perú, mi nombre es Renzo Wenzel y estoy con Algorand por su seguridad, su escalabilidad y su descentralización que nos brinda su mecanismo de consenso. Y el objetivo aquí es hacer que más personas conozcan, participen y desarrollen soluciones reales a problemas regionales utilizando todas las herramientas que nos brinda Algorand.
Hola, soy Diego Benítez, Champion de Algorand Foundation en México. Elegí Algorand porque es el ecosistema donde se están construyendo proyectos de valor e estamos trabajando mucho para crecer la comunidad en México e ser referentes en la indústria.
Olá família Algorand, tudo bem com vocês? Aqui é o Israel e eu falo diretamente da cidade maravilhosa, Rio de Janeiro. Brasil. Uma das coisas que me chamou a atenção com a Algorand foi a sua relação com as universidades. E esse é um dos meus objetivos, aproximar aqui no Rio de Janeiro a Algorand das universidades. Consequentemente, nós vamos contribuir para a comunidade como um todo, também para a comunidade de desenvolvedores e o ecossistema de criptomoedas.
こんにちは、日本担当の秋尾です。日本ではこれからパートナー企業と組んで開発者向けの教育プログラムを立ち上げ、プラス、DeFi とかゲーム分野においてエンドユーザー向けのイベントもどんどん開催していきます。アルゴランドは単なる売買するものではなくて使っていくものですので、使い倒していきましょう。
Hello everyone, my name is David Ham, a community champion here in Korea. Currently, I am focused on building a developer-centric community here to build drive awareness and also to fuel the growth of projects building on Algorand here in Korea. I'm really excited to have this opportunity to not only introduce Algorand to the Korean builder community, but also to showcase the level of innovation here that is in Korea. There's a lot of projects and it'd be great to see these projects building on Algorand.
大家好，我叫伟燕，我是负责 Algorand 中文的全品。Algorand 提供互操作性和高处理容量的区块链基础设施，更好的服务于 DeFi 金融机构和政府。我主要负责整个中文信息推广平台和渠道的社区冠军，我也是温收口一圈社区的积极分子。
Saya dari Indonesia. Saat ini saya tinggal di Jakarta. Saya akan bertanggung jawab untuk mengelola komunitas Algorand yang ada di Indonesia. Selain itu, melalui konten sosial media, melalui offline event maupun online event, dan juga kolaborasi dengan komunitas Web3 yang lain, saya akan mengenalkan Algorand blockchain dan ekosistemnya di Indonesia. Saya tertarik dengan Algorand karena Algorand merupakan jaringan blockchain yang memiliki kecepatan yang tinggi, memiliki keamanan yang tinggi dengan biaya transaksi yang rendah. Selain itu, Algorand juga merupakan jaringan blockchain yang ramah lingkungan.
Hai, saya Rian, Algorand Community Champion dari Indonesia. Kalian pernah datang ke Bali? Mungkin banyak kalian tahu Indonesia adalah Balinya. Terlepas dari itu, Indonesia merupakan negara ke-20 dengan adopsi kripto tertinggi di dunia. Maka dari itu, saya Rian turut bangga menjadi bagian dari Algorand Community Champion. Let's connect and collaborate.
Xin chào mọi người, mình là Henry và hiện tại mình đang làm quản lý sản phẩm tại một công ty blockchain. Mình rất phấn khởi vì được trở thành một Algorand Champion. Với vai trò này, mình sẽ tập trung vào việc tổ chức sự kiện và tạo ra các nội dung giáo dục để giúp đưa thêm nhiều nhà phát triển đến với Algorand. Mình sẽ sử dụng những kinh nghiệm của mình trong lĩnh vực blockchain để giúp đưa Algorand đến với nhiều người hơn và giới thiệu cho họ tiềm năng và lợi ích của nền tảng này. Cảm ơn vì đã cho mình cơ hội được trở thành một Algorand Champion. Mình rất mong muốn được gặp gỡ và trao đổi với mọi người trong cộng đồng.
Hello everyone, g'day from Australia. I'm Karen and I am the Brisbane Algorand Community Champion. I'm known as Block Mum. I've been with the foundation for almost 2 years now. And I love bringing on students and new developers.
Hi, I'm Hamish and I'm excited to be the new Algorand Community Champion here in Melbourne, Australia. I look forward to bringing a number of events online and offline to the community and growing the Algo fam. My particular passions in blockchain are Web3 gaming projects as well as tokenized real estate and other physical assets. I look forward to promoting events around these spaces and educating people in Melbourne. Thank you.
I am Shay, I'm the UK Community Champion. I live in Bristol. What drew me to Algorand was the technology and sustainability. I really want my little one to live in a world that is healthy and safe. The green blockchain is carbon negative, really speaks to Algorand's commitment for future generations and technology. I'm really excited to connect with the Algo fam, to support projects and also to introduce people to this fantastic ecosystem because there really is a place for everyone at Algorand.
Salut tout le monde, c'est Alex, le champion Algorand pour la communauté française. 2023 est une année importante pour l'adoption d'Algorand, mais en France encore trop peu de personnes connaissent cette incroyable blockchain, alors que nous savons tous qu'Algorand est la blockchain la plus fiable, la plus sécurisée, la plus performante qui existe. Et il est important d'attirer de nouveaux utilisateurs, de nouveaux développeurs, de nouveaux créateurs, et de leur expliquer pourquoi Algorand est la blockchain idéale pour eux, et je vais faire de mon mieux pour y contribuer.
Karja, Sarah Jane Asanam Dum. I'm the Algorand Foundation Community Champion for Ireland. I host events throughout the country and raise awareness speaking on podcasts, meetups, and through Algorand Ireland social media, which follow if you're not already doing so. I'm looking forward to diving deeper into the developer space. And the fun fact about myself is that I love music and I'm also a producer DJ. Thank you. Por Myalgo.
Boas, Algo Fan. O meu nome é Mauro e sou o Algorand Community Champion em Portugal. Este é o segundo ano que visto a camisola da Algorand. Tem sido uma experiência incrível poder partilhar com a comunidade portuguesa algo em que acredito e confio. Porquê Algorand? Fácil. Vim pela tech e fiquei não só pela tech, mas também pela comunidade que encontrei. Obrigado por me receberem e vamos continuar a construir juntos.
Salve, sono Sergio Caserta e vi saluto da Roma. Ho conosciuto Algorand nel 2017, ne ho seguito lo sviluppo e la diffusione diventandone il primo ambassadore e poi champion. Dedico volentieri il tempo allo sviluppo dell'ecosistema e spero che ci sia presto un importante evento a Roma che ci consenta di conoscerci tutti. Un caro saluto e grazie.
Hello, my name is Andrzej and I'm community champion based in Warsaw, Poland, focusing on CE region, which is Central and Eastern Europe, and I like to introduce myself as a crypto ultra marathon runner because I do love running ultra marathons. On the other hand, I am very much fascinated with blockchain technology. That's how I got into Algorand. A lot of interesting things upcoming in the Algorand ecosystem. Stay tuned about Algo Kit, one-click notes and others. Cheers.
Merhaba arkadaşlar, ben Alp Atabek. İstanbul'da yaşıyorum. Algorand'le yaklaşık 2,5 sene önce tanıştım. Beni en çok etkileyen özellikleri, arkasında yatan bu muhteşem teknoloji, doğa dostu özellikleri ve adeta bir aile gibi olan komünitesi oldu. Yaklaşık 1 yıldır Algorand Türkiye komünite temsilcisi olarak çalışıyorum. Hem Algorand Türkiye topluluğunu büyütmeye hem de Algorand'e genç geliştiriciler kazandırmaya çalışıyorum. Teşekkürler.
Hola, mi nombre es Tomás y soy el Community Champion de Algorand en España. Vivo en Madrid y una de mis principales tareas es contactar a todas las startups, proyectos y emprendimientos para invitarlos a pertenecer a la Algo Fam. Me gusta trabajar en Algorand porque es una de las blockchains que tiene mejores relaciones con instituciones académicas. Además, es la que menos contamina y tiene los gas fee más bajos. Espero que nos veamos pronto en Madrid o en cualquier otra ciudad de España.
هلو جميعا، أنا ريكاردو كنعان من لبنان وحكون الألجوراند كوميونيتي تشامبيون للدول العربية اللي تقريبا سنة ونص ناشط بالإيكو سيستم، ساعدت عدة NFT بروجكتس تيكبروا وينمو، ونقيت كون جزء من ألجوراند من وراء التكنولوجيا اللي بتتميز فيها مثل السرعة والأمانة بالتحويلات، إنها أول بلوك تشين صديقة للبيئة، وإلى 4 سنين شغالة ولا مرة وقفت. وأهم شيء إنه الكوميونيتي تبعها ناشطة وبيساعدوا كل شخص جديد بينضم لها. حكون مسؤول عن السوشيال ميديا للدول العربية اللي من خلالها حفرجي العالم على ألجوراند وكل المشاريع الفريدة من نوعها والتطورات اللي عم ينشغل عليها.
Moin, ich bin Zeissek, Digital Community Champion bei der Algorand Stiftung und wie man vielleicht hört, komme ich aus Deutschland. Ich bin vor allem auf den sozialen Kanälen aktiv, das heißt, die meisten dürfen mich von Reddit kennen oder haben zumindest mal meine Stimme in einem der Twitter Spaces gehört. Dort veranstalten meine Kollegen und ich viele MMAs, zum Beispiel mit dem Tech-Team von Algorand Inc. Aber ich bin auch bekannt dafür, dass ich einen guten Überblick über das Ökosystem habe, also ihr könnt mir gerne Fragen stellen und wenn ich meine Antwort nicht weiß, dann weiß ich zumindest, wen ich ansprechen muss.
Hi everyone, Hashmap's Data to Value here, coming to you from Northern Europe. Some of you might have interacted with me, whether you know it or not, in the official Algorand subreddit, where I serve as one of the moderators. But I'm also active on Twitter, and what initially drew me to Algorand was the high concentration of technical and academic competence. But what made me stay was the awesome, friendly, vibrant community. A community I'm proud to be serving as a digital communities champion. So, if you haven't already, hop on Reddit and let's talk.
Hi, I'm Anjoni Tayo from Nigeria, Impact Community Champion for Algorand in Africa. We are trying to build a community of blockchain enthusiasts, developers, Web3 founders, and also taking blockchain beyond the early adopters. Thank you.
Hey there, I'm Dylan from Singapore, and some of you might have seen me as the Algorand intern on Twitter, and I'm excited to be the DeFi vertical champion for Algorand. As a champion, I'm going to be working hard to strengthen our community by creating cool content and making sure everyone feels. So let's work together and make some magic happen. I'll see you guys around.
Fala pessoal, tudo bem? Eu sou o Arthur, falo do Brasil. Fico muito feliz em representar a comunidade da América Latina, principalmente de São Paulo, onde eu moro. Eu estou na comunidade da Algorand já há mais de um ano. Já conheci muitos de vocês pessoalmente. Faço parte também de um projeto de música dentro do ecossistema e acompanho diversos outros projetos. Minha missão é usar a criatividade para engajar diversos criadores da América Latina e fazer com que muita gente venha para o Algorand e conheça a nossa rede.
Great. It's always so it makes me my eyes swelling when I see so many amazing community champions representing Algorand across the world. I feel very blessed to be able to work with so many great talents and to build a community together. So please feel free to reach out to your regional community champions if you have any questions or any ideas and you want to just cooperate with Algorand. And if you would like to become a community champion yourself, the application is still open, so do not hesitate to reach out to us. Okay, with some time left, let's move to the QA part where our speakers have chosen some questions. There are 2 questions regarding governance, so I'll just ask the questions by our community. So I think this question should be answered by Adriana, if you are there. Cool. So how many XGovs are anticipated, and is there a target number?
There is no target number. This is the very first time, so I'd say a good number would be about 100, but I feel like it's gonna be a bit more than that. But one thing to say about XGov as well, if you are very new to the ecosystem, you just arrived, if this is your first or second governance period, I would suggest you participate in governance first, learn the mechanics, learn how it works. So when you commit your rewards to XGov, it's for the long term. It has to be there for the whole year. And if you don't do your XGov duties, you will lose your rewards. So make sure you read all the information. We are posting a ton of information on our website, on social channels over the next few weeks. Like most of the information will be available as the governance period opens, and as we create these other parts of the system during Q2, we will be releasing lots of how-tos and having Twitter Spaces, Discord meetings, so we can really dig in and figure out how we're gonna do this together.
Cool. And I got another one. It's still for you, AJ. Could Adriana briefly cover how a rolling XGov commit might be handled if one were to commit to a 1GP, and the overlap of subsequent commitments and how this plays into legibility concerns?
Look, I don't know the full answer to that, the rolling commit yet, because we are finalizing the build of that part of the system, but governance and XGov will run like separate systems. So even if you are enrolled in XGov and you have your 1 year of XGov duties, if you still want to get governance rewards and participate in general governance, where we will make those broader decisions for the ecosystem, you should most certainly be a part of that as well. And as I just mentioned, we will be rolling out educational videos and materials so we can figure out what's the best way to go about doing that, and what are the consequences if you have rolling commitments and you forget to vote, for example. So TBD.
Great. And AJ, like if they have further questions, how can I reach out to you? Is there any channels?
Yes, I'm very active on our Discord server, the Algorand Discord server. There's a governance channel. We'll soon be opening a XGov channel as well. If if you have suggestions about the process itself, the ARCs that inform the design of the XGov also have channels, ARC 33 for how to become an XGov and ARC 34 for how to submit proposals. We will be launching an XGov page on our website before Friday. It's going to be algorand.foundation/xgov. And yes, I'm around. Yeah, I'm very easy to reach. Just come and have a chat.
Great, thank you. So we still have some time, and we would like to take another 2 questions. And actually, these 2 are for John. John, are you there?
Yeah, hi, how's it going?
Well, yeah, so the first question is from Merlin, and the question is, as now the actual precise exploit could be identified, how safe it is to say that a similar approach could not work anymore at Myalgo? Or for instance, is Para Wallet immune to this?
So like, to answer this question, I'd have to give, as I did on my live stream, a fundamental breakdown of the architecture of the wallets. And so with any wallet, there's many different attack vectors. In this instance, the compromised API key has been rotated, so it's a fresh key. So the attack vector is no longer possible with Myalgo right now. So from the point of view of this attack, Myalgo is now safe. For Para, as an example, the way the mobile wallet works on your iPhone or your Android phone, this wouldn't have been a factor. But for example, for Para's web wallet, so Para have rolled out recently an equivalent to Myalgo, a web-based wallet. For that wallet, this type of attack could work. Of course, that's the resiliency to an attack like this is predicated on the operational security with which companies like Myalgo and Para handle their API keys. So it's up to the DevOps guys and the infrastructural engineering guys to ensure that the API keys are kept secure. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is that with using third-party wallets, of course, there's always a risk. You're trusting them to write the correct code, to handle their operations correctly, and to generate the keys correctly. But as far as we know, this attack has been closed off. The API keys are now properly handled with Myalgo, and no such attack has happened with Para because they seem to have strong operational security around their API key. So hopefully that answers that question.
Great, thank you.
Next one here. On the Myalgo incident, has a potential suspect been identified during the investigation? And is there anything that can or will be done for the victims? So in terms of the suspect, so now that we know the server that was hit with regard to exfiltrating the key material and the passwords, we now have a domain name, and that has to be registered by a person with a credit card. We have IP addresses for the virtual private servers in Amazon that the person was using to basically host the malicious attack. And so now the FBI, rather when I say we, I mean the FBI, the law enforcement have tangible evidence against this person. They know the IP addresses they were using, they know the servers they were using, they know, and many of these products, by the way, like registering a domain, requires a certain amount of information to be disclosed. So I actually have a strong conviction that we're going to catch this person, and that the FBI and the other law enforcement agencies will eventually apprehend them. If that is the case, of course, in many examples that we've seen before where funds were stolen, the funds can be repatriated or returned once the individual is caught. In terms of what can be done to help the victims, from the point of view of the foundation, we're not going to be making victims whole, so we're not going to pay to restore the funds of people who are affected by this. But potentially something might be able to be done through governance, where there could be a vote, for example, to use governance funds in that direction. But that's something that's is outside the scope of the work that I do. And then one other question there I see: will John be doing a live stream tutorial with BitBoy's kid using Algo Kit? So yesterday, or the other day rather, I was on a live stream with BitBoy, who's a kind of an influencer in the crypto space, talking about Algo Kit and how cool I think it is. And yes, I intend to jump on a live stream with his 12-year-old and launch an NFT just to show how easy it is. So yeah, that's it.
Great, thank you, John. Cool. I guess with that, this marks the end of our second assembly call. I mean, a great thanks to all the guest speakers here. And I would like to thank you all for joining. Please pay attention to the incoming emails after this call for the PLAB claiming. and I will see you all next time. Bye, everyone.